Can you tell how long your life will be by looking at your face? If these four types of wrinkles appear on your face, it may be a sign of a serious illness. Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about a scary but very practical topic. The wrinkles on your face may be hiding the alarm of your body. Many people look in the mirror and see the wrinkles on their foreheads, corners of their eyes, and around their mouths, and sigh, "Oh, I'm old." But do you know? Sometimes, wrinkles are not just traces of time. They may also be reminding you there is something wrong somewhere in your body. Especially wrinkles in some special positions. Their appearance is often not simply skin aging, but the body is calling for help. Not to scare you, some doctors have pointed out long ago that the human face is actually a mirror of health. Where you are weak, blocked, and have problems may be shown on your face in advance. So don't just think that applying some eye cream can smooth out the wrinkles. More importantly, you need to know why these wrinkles suddenly become deeper and more obvious. Next, let's talk about the key points. In today's video, we will tell you about the 4 most common abnormal wrinkles on the face. What diseases do they warn of, and what signals should you pay special attention to? Of course, we are not doing metaphysics, nor are we just relying on experience to make a guess. These contents are based on the principles of traditional Chinese medicine and modern medicine. You can look at yourself in the mirror and have an idea in your mind. Let's start with the first one. 1. Vertical lines between eyebrows. Beware of liver key stagnation. It is the place between the eyebrows where you frown all year round, called yin-tang. Some people are not yet 40 years old, and there is a deep and straight groove in the yin-tang. When you frown, the whole person looks sad. Some people say that this is worrying about life, but it is not entirely true. Vertical wrinkles between eyebrows often reflect liver key discomfort and liver key stagnation. What is liver key stagnation? Simply put, it means that you are depressed, stressed, always keep silent, and easily irritable. Especially some middle-aged people who are tired, smiling on the surface, but angry inside. If these emotions are not released in time, the liver's function of dispersing qi will be problematic. Once liver qi is not smooth, it is easy to form such vertical wrinkles between eyebrows. And if you ask, people with such wrinkles are likely to have poor sleep, have a quick temper, are prone to bloating, constipation, and even girls will have irregular menstruation and breast problems. This is not alarmist. Chinese medicine says the liver is responsible for dispersing qi, and it likes to be regulated and hates depression. In other words, the liver is most afraid of you always holding back. So if you have particularly obvious wrinkles between your eyebrows, don't just think about applying skincare products. You have to adjust your emotions and work and rest. Appropriately relieve liver and depression. Make some rose tea. Don't work too hard overtime. Find someone to talk to. In fact, it works better than anything else. 2. If the nasolabial folds are too deep, be careful of weak spleen and stomach. Let's talk about the second most common wrinkled nasolabial folds. These are the 2 grooves on both sides of the nose that extend to the corners of the mouth. When you are young, these 2 lines are not very obvious. But some people in their 30s have these 2 nasolabial folds that are deep and long, and look like a figure 8. The whole person looks very tired, and even the face is a little collapsed. Many people think it is the loss of collagen, but in fact it is only a superficial phenomenon. The real root cause may be weak spleen and stomach. Chinese medicine says the spleen governs muscles and ascends the clear. This means that whether your face can be full, strong, and energetic depends largely on the function of the spleen and stomach. Once the spleen and stomach are weak, nutrients cannot be delivered in place, facial fat is prone to sagging, the cheeks are sunken, and the nasolabial folds become deeper. Especially if you see some people, they feel bloated after eating anything, have trouble sleeping, and are prone to diarrhea or constipation. These are all poor spleen and stomach function. Moreover, people with spleen deficiency also have weak qi, feel tired when talking, and have dull eyes. Therefore, it is not an exaggeration to say that nasolabial folds are a mirror of spleen deficiency. If you find that these 2 lines are particularly heavy on you, and you always feel tired, have a poor appetite, and have indigestion, then don't just think about hyaluronic acid injections. You have to start with the spleen and stomach. Eat more warm and nourishing foods, eat less cold foods, and eat meals at regular times and quantities. If you have time, try yam porridge and red dates and barley soup. Once the body is well taken care of, the complexion will naturally return, and the face will become fuller. 3. Fine lines at the corners of the eyes. Don't ignore the lack of kidney. I often say that the eyes are the windows of the soul. But in fact, in traditional Chinese medicine, the eyes correspond to the kidneys, especially the fine lines and dry lines on the lower eyelids and corners of the eyes. If you are young, and the wrinkles at the corners of your eyes are particularly obvious, and you often have dark circles and eye bags, don't ignore it. It is likely that the kidney qi is insufficient. Think about it, the kidney governs water and stores essence. People with sufficient kidney qi have ruddy complexions, bright eyes, and full of energy. But once the kidney qi is deficient, it begins to languish. Especially those who often stay up late, are under great pressure, sit for a long time and do not move much, and are overworked, are most likely to damage the kidney qi. At first, the sleep is poor and the memory becomes worse, then the waist and legs are sore, then the eyes are dull and the fine lines at the corners of the eyes gradually increase. You think it is just aging, but in fact, the body is telling you, I can't stand it anymore. And some female friends will also have menstrual disorders, fear of cold hands and feet. These are all manifestations of kidney deficiency. So, don't underestimate those small wrinkles, especially those at the corners of your eyes. That's the warning sound from your kidneys. Take proper care of your kidneys, live a regular life. Don't stay up late to check your phone. Eat more black foods, such as black sesame, black beans, and black fungus. You will find that your eyes are brighter and your skin is not so sagging. Let's continue to talk about the fourth type of wrinkles that you may ignore. After listening to the first three, you may have looked in the mirror several times. The following one needs more attention. Don't think it's just because you smile too much. In fact, there are signals behind it. Fourth, puppet lines at the corners of the mouth may be a warning of cardiovascular and cerebrovascular disease. Have you noticed that some people are particularly prone to two drooping wrinkles on both sides of the corners of their mouths? That kind of wrinkles makes people feel that the person seems to be always unhappy. These two lines also have a name, called puppet lines. Once they start to become obvious, the whole face looks a bit sagging. To put it bluntly, it also makes you look old and miserable. But do you know, this kind of wrinkles is not just a problem of external aging. In Chinese medicine, the corners of the mouth are a junction of the human meridians, connecting the spleen and stomach, and also affecting the heart. In modern medicine, some doctors also point out if marionette lines appear too early and too heavy, it may be related to cardiovascular and cerebrovascular problems and facial nerve function. Especially when you see some people who are not very old, but the corners of their mouths droop a lot. It turns out that they have high blood pressure, high blood lipids, and big mood swings. These problems are inseparable from cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases. To put it more bluntly, if the lines at the corners of your mouth are not right, plus you always feel dizzy, palpitations, insomnia, and poor concentration recently, then be careful. Don't underestimate these minor problems. Stroke, coronary heart disease, memory loss often start quietly like this. Especially for the elderly, or those with a history of heart and brain diseases in the family, they should be more vigilant. You may ask, then I also have wrinkles at the corners of my mouth, is that the end? Don't worry, we can't cut it off and one size fits all. This thing does not mean that you have a disease if you have wrinkles. The key is to look at it in combination with other symptoms. For example, do you often feel listless, depressed, and easily fatigued? Are there any signs of insufficient blood supply to the head, such as dizziness, tinnitus, and forgetfulness? If these also come with it, it is best to find time to check blood pressure, blood lipids, and electrocardiogram, early detection, and early treatment. To put it bluntly, marionette lines are the signal lights of heart and brain fatigue on your face. Don't let it keep flashing and you don't take it seriously. So can these wrinkles be eliminated? How should we ordinary people adjust? This question is asked by many people. To be honest, do you expect to use skincare products, massagers, and facelifts to cure wrinkles? That is just a temporary solution, not a cure for the root cause. What really works is to start with internal conditioning. Chinese medicine says that the body is the home of the spirit, and behind the wrinkles are changes in the qi and blood of the internal organs. So you have to find a solution from the source. For example, for those with heavy yin-tang lines between the eyebrows, pay more attention to liver emotions, learn to let go, and don't take everything to heart. For those with deep nasolabial folds, take good care of the spleen and stomach, eat lighter, stay up less late, and don't lie down immediately after a meal. For those with many wrinkles at the corners of the eyes, replenish kidney key, pay attention to rest, and eat more black foods. For puppet lines at the corners of the mouth, be alert to heart and brain problems. Pay attention to blood pressure and blood lipids, and don't sulk for no reason. Let me emphasize again, what wrinkles you have on your face now is not destined by heaven, nor does it mean that you have a hard life. Most wrinkles are the result of your lifestyle, emotional state, and work and rest habits over the years. Since you have raised it, you can also raise it back little by yourself. Don't just be afraid of aging and wrinkles. The most fearful thing is to ignore the reminders of the body ignorantly. Many people think, wrinkles are natural, I'll just leave it as it is. But in fact, you don't know that some people discover big problems early through a small change on their faces. For example, there was an aunt in her 50s who suddenly found that her right nasolabial folds were particularly deep and the corners of her mouth kept falling down. She thought it was because of her age, so she didn't care. As a result, a month later, her mouth was a little crooked when she spoke. The hospital checked and found that it was a sign of mild cerebral infarction. Fortunately, it was discovered early, and she was hospitalized for treatment, and then she gradually recovered. So don't think that you are thinking too much or making a fuss. The body will never become ugly for no reason. Every line on your face is not in vain. It has a source and a reason. What you need to do is not to be afraid of it, but to understand it. To sum up, the wrinkles on your face are the barometer of your health. If you understand them, it's an opportunity. If you ignore them, it's a risk. Don't wait until you get sick to regret that you didn't understand the signals your face sent you. It's not too late to start observing yourself and adjusting your life now. We have already talked about for typical wrinkles, the Chuan lines between the eyebrows warn of emotional depression and liver key discomfort. The nasolabial folds from the nose to the corners of the mouth are often caused by spleen and stomach problems. Dry lines and fine lines at the corners of the eyes are mostly related to kidney deficiency, and the drooping puppet lines at the corners of the mouth are often linked to cardiovascular and cerebrovascular and nerve fatigue. You may feel a little panicked when you hear this. Then I have all these wrinkles on my face. Is my body about to have a big problem? Don't worry. We must make it clear here, wrinkles are not a wanted warrant to sentence you to death. They're just a reminder letter sent by the body. It is a signal, not an ending. If you understand it, it is equivalent to turning on the body's alarm in advance. If you don't look, listen, or care, that's really dangerous. 1. Wrinkles are not scary. They remind you that it's time to adjust. For example, you now find that your nasolabial folds have deepened and your face is collapsing quickly. Then look back and see if you have been eating cold drinks, eating greasy food, and lying down after meals recently. The spleen and stomach are working overtime every day. Of course, it can't bear it. You can make a slight adjustment, eat something hot for breakfast, 80% to 90% full, drink less ice water, and don't lie down immediately after lunch break. You will find that your complexion has gradually improved and you are more energetic. For another example, some people frown all year round, and the lines between their eyebrows are getting deeper and deeper. Every day, they wonder if their skin is aging and whether they need injections or medication. But what you actually want to ask is, are you always enduring? Always suppressing? Are there too many words in your heart that you can't say? That wrinkle is actually your emotional outlet. If you can learn to release your emotions earlier, cry when you should, talk when you should, and let go of what you should let go, slowly, you will find that your eyebrows are not so tight, and the whole person is relaxed. 2. The root of wrinkles is 90% in lifestyle. Let's be honest, the wrinkles on many people's faces are not caused by aging, but by working hard. Staying up late, working hard to damage the spleen and stomach, and working hard to collapse the body. Especially now that many young people are less than 30 years old. They have eye wrinkles, eyebrow wrinkles, and mouth wrinkles. It's not surprising. Going to bed late every day, emotional anxiety, eating disorderly, under great pressure. Think about it. Can this body not have problems? So, if you really want to improve wrinkles from the source, you have to change your lifestyle habits, not the cosmetics brand. Don't be fooled by advertisements anymore. No matter how expensive those skincare products are, they can only cover the surface. Your key, blood, internal organs, work and rest, and mood are the real behind the scenes that determine your complexion and lines. 3. Don't know how to change? I'll teach you a few of the most practical tricks. The first trick, go to bed early. Don't underestimate this sentence. Really, going to bed late is the biggest face-destroying behavior. Chinese medicine says that the liver and gallbladder meridians detoxify at night. If you go to bed at a.m., how can your liver have a chance to rest? Dry lines, dullness, and yellow gas on your face, aren't they coming? Try to lie down before 10:30 and stick to it for a month and see if your complexion will change. The second trick: eat light meals. I don't ask you to eat healthy meals every day, but at least eat less cold drinks, less fried food, and less midnight snacks. What you eat will be reflected on your face. When the stomach and intestines are unobstructed, your face will naturally stop swelling and your spirit will return. The third trick: keep your emotions stable. Put it bluntly, some wrinkles are caused by anger. The more you get angry and the more you hold back, the deeper your wrinkles will be and the more tired your body will be. Learn to control your temper, release stress, and don't be hard on yourself. The fourth trick: move appropriately. How can the blood and qi flow if you sit still every day? Don't talk about how intense the exercise is. Walking 3,000 steps a day is better than sitting there and browsing your phone. The fifth trick: you can try some traditional conditioning methods such as foot bathing, moxibustion, and drinking some herbal tea and whole grain porridge appropriately. You don't have to take medicine or spend money. Many of our ancestors' ways of raising people are in the details of life. As long as you are willing to spend some time, your body will definitely reward you. Finally, a reminder: don't let wrinkles remind you how important health is. You may think you're still young now, and wrinkles are nothing. But you have to understand that every abnormal line on your face is actually your body writing to you in advance. Whether you can understand it and listen to what it says will determine whether you can avoid that disease in the future and live more easily. There is a saying in China: it is better to treat a disease before it occurs than to treat it after it occurs. Don't wait until the disease becomes serious, you are hospitalized, or you have surgery before you regret it. Starting today, go to bed earlier, eat better, and breathe more smoothly, and every wrinkle on your face will become softer. They will not disappear immediately, but they will slowly tell you, hey, you did a good job, and I won't scare you anymore. Okay, that's all for today. Don't say looking at the face is superstition anymore. Sometimes your face is really a barometer of your health. The next time you look in the mirror, don't just see that you are old, but also see your body is quietly reminding you to take good care of me. I hope today's episode can help you understand yourself a little better, and I also hope that you can start with your face and slowly get your body back to health. See you next time.